Board exam registrations are upon us, and you might be wondering, which papers should I write first? Which papers should I write last? Well, here are my recommendations. Hey, what's good, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shela, or you can call me your lawyer bestie. And I'm an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa, which means that once upon a time, I had to write board exams like you are preparing to write board exams right now. And you might be wondering, which papers should I write first? Which papers should I attempt last? Well, this video is aimed at answering those questions. Please note that these recommendations are my own and they are in no way endorsed by the Legal Practice Council. These strategies have helped a lot of people that I have advised, and I think it is best if I share these with you. Of course, you're not obliged to take these, but I think this is the best way of going about board exams. Oh, and before I get to the two strategies, I just want to state that this video is for those of you who want to attempt board exams over 2 sittings. So writing in the beginning of the year and then end of the year, or writing end of the year and then your second session being the beginning of the following year. So if you're planning on attempting these exams over 2 sittings, this is the right video for you. All right, let's get into the 2 strategies. You can use either one. And the first one is register for all 4 exams. Now, hear me out. Register for all 4 exams, prepare for all 4 exams, but then write only the exams that you feel ready for. That's the first thing you can do, or you can attempt all 4 exams when the time comes. Now, the good thing about this strategy is that it keeps a window open for you to write any or all of the exams when the time comes. You know, sometimes when you're studying and let's say you have registered for 2 papers, and while you're studying for those 2 papers, you feel that you have enough time and you can squeeze in another paper. But you can't do that if you have not registered for that paper. So when you have registered for all 4 papers, the benefit is that you have an opportunity to write if you feel like writing. Because if you don't register for a particular paper, you will not be able to write it. So when you register for board exams, the papers that you register for are the papers that you are allowed to write. So on your proof of registration, it'll state that you have registered for paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. And you can only sit for the papers that you have registered for. This strategy keeps that window open and will give you a shot at trying, because who knows, you might pass all 4 exams. And imagine passing all 4 exams on your first attempt, and then you don't have to write in the second attempt because you've already written your exams and you have passed. So when you have registered for all 4 exams, you are keeping that window open and you can choose to use it or not to use it. It's your prerogative. And also what I like about this is that there are no extra financial costs to it. As in, whether you register for 1 paper or you register to write all 4 papers, the registration amount is still the same. So you don't really lose anything for registering for all 4 papers. And also, if you don't pitch up for the exam, you'll just get 0, and it will not have any bearing or any negative consequences relating to your application for admission or anything else. So you'll just get 0, and then you get another chance to try again in the next sitting. So I think that strategy is best, especially if you've got the time. If you have the time to prepare for all 4 exams, absolutely do that. Keep that window open and give it your best shot. Who knows, you might just pass all 4 exams on your first attempt. And if you fail, it's also not a train smash, because you've already started preparing for the next sitting, because you will not be starting from scratch. You will be improving on what went wrong the first time. Failing an exam does not result in inadequate preparation only. Sometimes you do know the coursework, but you fail to use the time adequately in the exam, or you had a blackout, or nervousness, anxiety. So there's a whole lot of issues that can contribute to a person failing an exam. So if you fail an exam, don't just think it's due to the fact of not knowing the coursework. Sometimes it's other issues as well. So if you have that experience of writing an exam and you fail, there are certain things that you know that somebody who hasn't attempted the exam doesn't know. And I think you'll be able to adequately use your time and plan properly for that exam. Because remember, you can do past papers all you want, but the truth is that when you do past papers, you don't time yourself like you are timed in the exam. I mean, you give yourself grace because nobody's really watching to see if you will complete this thing in 2 hours. So when you have done so in the exam, it's like you've got that experience that, you know what, there is no grace. Unlike when I do it by myself, I can just chill, get a glass of water, go make some food, and then continue with the past paper. But when you've written the exam, you'll know that the 2 hours is 2 hours. So I think that'll be an added advantage, being the experience of writing the paper and then not having to start from scratch when you're studying. Now, strategy one is absolutely best for people who have the time. For those of you who don't have the time, maybe you've just started your articles of clerkship, or there's just a lot of things that are happening in your life, strategy number two is what I recommend. And the biggest thing that I must state in this is that don't start with paper three. Whatever combination you choose to do, don't start with paper three. This is my reasoning. The reason for this is that there is so much content that you will cover in the other papers that you will use for paper three as well. For example, the legal practice fidelity fund and the insurance and the investments. This is content that you will find extensively explained in paper 4 coursework, and it also appears in your paper 3 coursework. Things like the drafting of pleadings and just the general rules of drafting, allotment, calculation of damages. These are things that you will find explained extensively in your paper 1 content, and it also appears in your paper 3 content. So I think studying from paper 3, just starting with paper 3, will disable you from getting the opportunity of getting certain things explained extensively. Because when you study for paper 4, for example, when you're preparing for the bookkeeping exam, when you see how these investments play out, you see what is due to the client, what is due to the legal practice fidelity fund. So when you know these things and then you find them again in paper 3, it's like, oh, I already know this. So it's a win for you. So that's why I say don't start with paper 3. And then if you're going to write over 2 sessions, I strongly suggest that your combination be 1 theory-based paper and 1 practically based paper. So your theory-based papers are paper 1, which is called procedure, and paper 3, which is ethics, inverted commas. You will find out that it's not just ethics that is asked in that paper. But anyway, I've also explained that in this video. So 1 theory-based paper and 1 practical-based paper. Practical-based papers being paper 2 and paper 4. So the best combination, in my opinion, is taking paper 1, which is a theory-based paper, and then paper 4, which is a practically-based paper, and then you write those. And then over the next sitting, you take paper 2 and paper 3, and then you write those. So that's the combination that I think will work. Taking 1 practical paper and a theory-based paper, and then having that same combination in the next sitting. Because if you take 2 theory-based papers, you will have so much content to study, so much content to cover. It might just feel like your head is about to blow because of the amount of work that you need to know. There's sections in the paper 1 exam, like there's just a lot if you take it theory, and then practical. So I think to balance it, I'll take 1 theory, 1 practical, and then 1 theory, 1 practical. So that is it. Those are my 2 strategies that I think will work for you when you are choosing which papers to write. I've shared this strategy with many others and it has helped them as well. So I think this is a good strategy and I think it will help you as well. Drop down to the comment section and let me know which papers you'll be registering for, which papers you are preparing to write. Which of the strategies are you going to use in tackling board exams? And I just want you to know that you are at the end of a very long, stressful, and tedious road that is preparing to being an attorney. You are literally there, and I am so proud of the fact that right now you're preparing to write board exams, and that's the last big hurdle to being admitted as an attorney of the High Court of South Africa. I wish you well on these exams. I wish you all the best. Check out all my other videos where I share board exam preparation tips and everything else relating to board exams. I think those will benefit you quite a lot. And until then, I will see you on my next one. I'm sending you tons of love and light. Bye.